Today, I'm going to be going through 5 ways which you could be losing so much money, possibly even billions of coins. And if you don't want to lose millions of coins, then watch this video. Just to explain what this video is about, I'm going to be going through 5 tips, and these tips are going to be really simple things, but they could prevent you from losing so much money. I mean, we've all heard of the story about the person dropping a Necron's handle on their carry and then not having the 35 mil in their bank. And we wouldn't want to end up like that person, right? Just quickly before we start the video, I kindly ask you to like the video, and if you're extra cool, then maybe consider subscribing as well. Also, if you haven't joined the Discord, there's always going to be 10 million coin giveaways happening at any time. So yeah, if you want free money, just have a chance and just join the Discord. And with that said, let's get on with the video. For my first tip about not losing money, I'm going to recommend that you don't switch dungeon classes often. I'm really guilty of this, because I switched dungeon classes probably about 6 or 7 times, and each time I switch, I always find I'm losing about 5 to 10 million coins. And whether this is because I didn't list my items high enough, or that just whenever you resell your items and rebuy them, then you just lose a lot of money, I don't know, but you just don't want to take that risk. And I've probably lost like 30 million coins just from switching dungeon classes completely unnecessarily as well. Of course, I'm not saying never switch dungeon classes, because that would be wrong. If you just get your hands on a Hyperion and you find that you want to switch a mage, then that's fine. Likewise, if you're playing as a hype mage or like a spirit scepter or something, and then you find, actually, I want to use a Juju because that could be helpful for master mode, and I'm going to stick with this for the rest of my dungeons career, then yeah, that's a good trade. But what I did, and it's the wrong thing to do, is just unnecessarily switch dungeon classes. Like, I would go mage for like a couple of days and go, I'm not really feeling mage, let's just go back to Burrs. And then I say, maybe I'll try tank a bit and just sell all of my stuff every single time. And all the time, this would just lose me so much money. Overall, this is a really easy thing to fix. And I also know that loads and loads of people are guilty of losing a lot of money to this, and that's me included. Anyways, with that said, let's move on to the next tip. Moving on to my second tip, my advice would to be you should always have 35 million coins in your bank at all times. If you didn't know, 35 million coins is the amount that you need for a Necron's handle, and if you don't have the money and you get a Necron's handle, you will never forget that moment, I promise you. On top of having money in your bank for dungeons, keeping money in your bank is always a good thing, because this means that you're never ever going to lose bank interest. And if you just keep it in your bank the whole time, then you're just always going to get that 300k or 250k every time that 30 hours comes around. This is a really easy thing to do, so I would recommend, if you don't have it, just put it in your bank right now, because there's really just no downsides to it. The same advice also applies if you're grinding Kudra, in the sense that you should always have a Kudra key with you, because if you drop that Fatal Tempo or that Inferno book, then yeah, you really want to have that Kudra key with you. There's really not much to say about this tip, just put it in your bank and forget about it. And with that said, let's move on to the next tip. The third way that I see loads of people losing a lot of money is through forgetting about bazaar and auction house tax. By the way, if you're wondering, this tax doesn't apply in buy orders, so you don't have to worry about that. The auction house tax is also 1%, and although that might not sound like much, that actually cuts into your profit margins quite a bit if you constantly just relist things because people undercut you. I'm not saying that you should never undercut people, I'm just saying you should try to limit the amount of times you do it. And if it's completely unnecessary, or if they've really badly undercut you, like they've undercut you for way more than they should have, then you can just leave it there, because that will just get bought straight away. Personally, if you look at my sky.ly, you can actually see I've lost over 170 million coins just on auction tax alone. This is a staggering amount, and I really did notice, when I listed my Terminator twice, I noticed I just lost an extra 6 million coins for just no reason, because I was just maybe slightly too impatient. This mistake is something I really see commonly, more so on the auction house, because the items are also generally higher value, but it also does apply to bazaar as well. Alright, so moving on to my fourth tip for not losing money. This again is a really simple one, like the money and putting it in the bank. All I'm going to say here is just buying a booster cookie and having it always active whenever you're doing something remotely dangerous. Of course, if you didn't know, the booster cookie prevents you from losing any coins, and it also prevents you from losing your god potion effects. One place where I especially found this helpful was the Crimson Isle, because sometimes I just randomly find myself just insta-dying, just like a boss which has just dragged me in, and there's really just nothing I can do about that. And especially if you're just walking around with large sums of money, like 60 million or something, you definitely should have a booster cookie. On top of this, you should be using a booster cookie anyway, because it's just really good. Not only is it good for not losing coins, you also get a 25% skill XP boost, you get a bit of magic find, you can access the auction house and the bazaar wherever you want, and also you gain bits. Now the bits are something I want to talk about in a bit more detail. This is because how bits work is that if you get more booster cookies and you buy more things at the community shop, then that means that you get a higher rank. A higher rank means that you actually get more bits for booster cookie, and eventually you'll be actually making more money from the bits that you earn from the booster cookie, which means that you buy the booster cookie, you actually make a profit on it, and you also get all the bonus effects like the magic find, the skill XP boost, and of course the ability to not lose coins. Overall, unless you're a really early game player, there's no reason not to use a booster cookie, because it will just save you so much money from dying and not losing your coins, and it gives you all the bonus benefits of like the magic find and the skill boost. My final tip for not losing money might surprise you a bit, and that's actually to make sure that you don't get scammed. Unsurprisingly, getting scammed is one of the quickest ways that you can lose money. And when that scammer clicks leave party and ignore add to, that's also one of the worst feelings that you ever experience playing Skyblock. Just a mix of feeling your own stupidity and anger at the person for getting scammed. Despite this, being aware and not getting scammed is actually not very hard. First thing I want to say is, as bad as it seems, you really just can't trust people on Skyblock. Sure, if people are actually willing to help you, there are also going to be some good people. However, the risk of you getting scammed and finding a bad person is just too high, and you just don't want to run into that risk. The second thing I'm going to say is that you should always check the trade menu when you're trading with someone. Just check through every single item really thoroughly, just to check that they're not scamming you, and check yours as well to make sure you put in the right number as well. The final thing to avoid getting scammed is to just make sure that you don't download any links. Don't download any links, whether it's sent by a friend or anyone random, because there's also a chance that your friend gets hacked, because if they're a good friend of yours, then the likelihood of them sending an actual mod on purpose, knowing that it's hacked, is quite limited. But they might not know that it's actually hacked, or, as I said earlier, the account could be compromised or hacked, and they could be just sending out this mod to everyone they know. And before you know it, you download this mod, they get full access to your Skyblock account, they steal your stuff, they blow up your island, and you get banned. Yeah, it's not a very good thing, I'm going to tell you that. Just please try not to get scammed, because the last thing we want as a Skyblock community is to give these scammers loads and loads of free coins. And if you can just make enough people aware to not get scammed, that no one gets scammed anymore, then all of these nasty people will just stop doing what it's doing, because it's just not worth their time. And those are my 5 tips for not losing lots of money in Hypixel Skyblock. If you're not already doing this, then just start doing these things, because trust me, over the years, you'll be saving a lot and lots of money. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, then it'll mean a lot to me if you could like the video and also subscribe while you're at it as well. And with that said, thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.